Let's build a document processing workflow in 30 minutes or less. We'll develop a medical document processing flow that is able to take in a variety of document types, parse the contents using Mistral OCR, and format the output based on the details you want to include. This type of pattern is incredibly common for a variety of use cases. You have a bunch of documents, all formatted differently, some maybe even with images or diagrams that you want to take note of, and you need to extract the data and catalog it. You can then add a step to input the results into, say, a database, give to an agent to take action, fill out a form. There are a lot of tasks that first need to turn unstructured docs into data. We'll be using Mistral workflows to build our workflow, as the Python SDK makes it straightforward to add workflow steps, pause for human-in-the-loop interactions, and create durable workflows that handle interruptions gracefully, picking up where they left off using their event history. If you want more information on anything we go through today, there are links in the description for the code, the tutorial, docs, AI Studio, and anything else you might need. Let's get started. First, let's set up our environment using this UVX command. This scaffolds a ready-to-run Python project with the Workflows SDK configured, along with helper commands. When prompted, we choose the default project name for simplicity and follow steps to generate a Mistral API key. Go ahead and open the project in your IDE so you can inspect the code and make changes. Here are some key components of this scaffold project. Agent skills for Mistral workflows are included for easy development with coding agents. Workflows are stored in separate files in the source workflows directory. The start.py file contains code for enabling you to trigger workflow execution from your command line. The hello.py file gives a minimal example workflow showing how to use the workflows activity, workflows workflow define, and workflows workflow entry point decorators. The devworker.py file contains a worker for local development that watches source for py changes and auto-restarts the workflow worker as needed. A worker is the process that actually runs your code. Workers connect to the workflow platform, register the workflows and activities they know about, and pull for tasks. When the platform schedules a workflow step or activity, an available worker picks it up and executes it. We'll show the worker running later in the tutorial. A makefile contains helper commands to streamline the development and testing process. There are also some other workflows to check out in the examples directory, so I recommend taking a look to see more applications of workflows. We'll be adding 5 Python files to the scaffold project. Extraction fields, which contains useful strings and constants that will be consumed by the workflow's agents. Medical doc workflow, which houses the actual functionality at the heart of our workflow. App.py, a Streamlit frontend for consuming PDFs to run in the workflow, and load test for functionality to launch multiple workflows in parallel to see how they load balance. Let's install the dependencies required for the project. We'll first make some changes to the dependency requirements to reflect what is needed for this particular project. Open the pyproject.toml and update these dependencies. It adds Streamlit as a dependency to create a basic frontend to upload the invoices, and it adds PyMu-PDF for PDF analysis. We'll call UVSync to install these dependencies. Even when documents are of the same type, they can come in a variety of formats. In the medical field, you can have invoices, medical results, referrals, all with different field names and different ways of organizing the same types of information. To process information extracted from the documents, we'll define how the fields should be named. To start, create a new directory under source called shared and add a file called extractionfields.py. Opening up extraction fields, let's add some common fields shared among all types of documents, and then some specific fields that depend on the type of document. Common fields for all documents include the patient's full name, their address, and social security number. Specific fields include things like doctor name and address, medications, and date when talking about a prescription, bill amount, and services when dealing with a medical bill, and so on. What we're doing here is building out the information for our prompt that is passed to a chat completions call, letting the agent know how to name and identify the data based on the document type. This is what gives us the formatting we're looking for at the end of our workflow. With our desired fields configured, we can now build out the workflow using the Mistral Workflows SDK. Workflows uses decorators to define the components for the workflow. As we build out the workflow, we'll discuss some of the available decorators. Let's create a new file in the Workflows folder called medicaldoc.workflow.py. Add the required imports and setups to the doc. In workflows, an activity is a unit of work that performs the actual computations, API calls, or other operations. They are designed using the Workflows activity decorator. By default, an activity is registered using its Python function name. We will pass two parameters with our activities. Start to close timeout, which sets the maximum time an activity can run from the moment it starts executing to the moment it must return a result. If the activity exceeds this duration, it is terminated and treated as a failure, which may trigger a retry. Without a timeout, a hung activity blocks indefinitely, which we don't want. And we'll also add retry policy max attempts, which specifies how many times an activity retries when it fails. You can find all the available workflows parameters in the docs. Our workflow includes 3 activities. Get document signed URL, which gets a signed URL for the file that can be passed to the next activity. Classify document, which uses Mistral chat completions to categorize the type of document, passing the document categories and file info. Extract patient info, which uses Mistral chat completions to pull the desired information from the document based on the given category and then return it in JSON format. Let's add these 3 activities to our code. First, let's define our activity that gets assigned URL. We use the Workflows activity decorator, setting the start to close timeout to 5 minutes and our max retry policy attempts to 2. Our function definition takes a file ID, then gets the Mistral client using getMistralClient. We then get the signed URL using client.files.getSignedURLAsync, passing the file ID. We return the signed URL, which makes it the output of our first activity. Next, we define our classified document activity. We use Mistral's chat completions with the chat parse async function, requesting a response format based on the document classification class we declared in our setup. We give our system its instructions and pass the document URL to the system for processing. For our last activity, we'll extract the desired output based on the category. We get an instance of the Mistral client, get the fields to extract, and use parse async again to get our formatted result. With our activities defined, we can move on to the actual workflow where we will call the activities. We use the workflows.workflow.define decorator from the Workflows SDK to identify a class as a workflow. We pass a name for the workflow, which is what we use to trigger the workflow and to view its usage in AI Studio. This is an interactive workflow because we have a human-in-the-loop step that takes place if our first chat completion can't determine what type of document is being submitted. We declare some step states that we can view in our front end to watch the progress, and we have a manual category signal for when a user is required to provide a document classification. To get the status of the workflow steps, we use Workflow's query functionality. Queries are synchronous and read-only. Then we use Workflow's signal decorator to indicate if the user selected a document category. Signals use asynchronous communication and can be sent at any time during workflow execution. Unlike signals, queries can mutate the workflow state. In this case, the category of document gets modified based on user input. Finally, the workflow's entry point decorator is used to define the run of the workflow. It walks through each activity, updating the steps along the way until the workflow is complete. We use these to-do list items to display workflow progress, providing the details we want to include. We update the first step, OCR, to be running, and then we call our activity function getDocumentSignedURL, passing the file ID provided from the client. Upon completion, we update the status to done and include a result description. We move on to the classify step, so we set its status to running. We call classifiedDocument, passing the signed URL and file name. Here's where our signal comes in. If the result of classification is of low confidence, we set the classify step to waiting human, as in waiting for a human input on what kind of document this is because the model doesn't know. We use the wait condition function to pause the workflow process until there is a signal or timeout. When the signal arrives, as in a human decides the document type, the workflow continues and moves on to the extract activity. The workflow returns both human-readable text and structured payload to display in the UI we're going to build. And this is the foundation of workflows. Activities take the actions, and the workflows organize what runs based on the results. These few lines of code are backed up by durability, so we don't have to worry about managing retries or picking up the right spot if an activity hits an error or timeout. Let's cap off our code by defining and running our main function. Right now, we have everything we need to run our workflow. We can do so programmatically right here in our IDE, or we can access it from AI Studio. But it's nice to have a UI to be able to view the steps, so let's build a simple front end with Streamlit. In the entry points folder, let's create a new file called app.py. The Streamlit app we're building is a human-in-the-loop pipeline for processing medical PDFs end-to-end. It uploads a document, runs OCR, classifies the document type, and extracts structured patient information. It also displays workflow progress in real time and lets the user manually confirm the category when model confidence is too low, so the extraction remains reliable for downstream use. Let's start with our imports and some constants. Then we'll add the app's integration layer between Streamlit and workflows. We'll create a new Mistral client, passing the server URL and API key from our .env. This helper runs an async workflow call from regular Streamlit code. It creates a temporary event loop, waits for the async operation to finish, and then it shuts the loop down cleanly so background async generators don't leak or trigger pending tasks warnings. We create a function to upload the PDF to Mistral using the client file's upload sync function. It returns the response ID, which will be used to get the download URL for the file. Then we create a function to trigger the workflow, which passes the file ID, file name, and desired confidence threshold, as in how confident we want to be that the document classification is accurate. We make a function for polling our steps using the query workflow execution async function. Then we use this helper to fetch the full workflow execution record for a given execution ID. The UI uses it when step polling is not enough and it needs to overhaul the workflow status or the final result payload. Then we add a function that defines the payload for the manual category signal and sends that signal to the running workflow. It's used when a user manually picks a document category so the workflow can resume with the human-approved value instead of the low-confidence model. We add the backfill steps from execution result function to update the UI's step state from the workflow's final result payload if the normal step polling data is incomplete or no longer available. It extracts the OCR, classification, and patient information fields from the returned structured result and marks those steps as completed so the interface can still show the finished output. Now that's it for the workflows related code of our UI, so I'm just going to brush by the rest of it very quickly here. We're using PyMu PDF only locally to render a preview of the first page in the Streamlit interface, as Mistral ingests the PDF directly. We trigger our workflow by the click of a button and update the view as the steps take place. Okay, we have our front end and our workflow, so let's go ahead and try it out. We'll update our makefile with some helper commands to make it easy to run and test. As a teaser, I'm adding a command here for load testing while we happen to be in the file. Update your makefile to add the Streamlit and load test commands. To run the workflow, you'll need some medical documents. And if you don't have any that happen to be lying around that you'd like to use for testing, you can download some examples from the link in the description. Make a directory in your project called input doc and put the files there, as this is where the load testing will look for them once we've implemented it. Now, in a terminal window, start the worker using the makefile command. This helper auto-discovers all workflows and starts the worker with FileWatch and auto-reload to update when you make changes. We'll open a second terminal window and start our front end. This opens the Streamlit app in the browser. Let's upload one of our example PDFs and then watch as it runs through the workflow steps. And here we have our output with the fields parsed from the document. Navigating to AI Studio, we can find our workflow and see each activity's input and output. One of the useful features of workflows is load balancing. When a workflow is triggered, it's automatically picked up by an available worker. We can run multiple workers, and when many workflows are running in parallel, they will be automatically distributed across available workers. Let's see what that looks like in action by creating our own load tester. Make a new file in the entry points directory called loadtest.py. I'm not going to focus too much on the code of the load tester, except to say that it runs the workflow much like our Streamlit front end, except that it kicks off a specified number of runs at the same time, with a default of 10. Back in the terminal, we can stop the Streamlit app using Control-C. Then we can trigger the load testing using the makefile command make load test. All the work in our workflow is async, so a single worker can actually handle many concurrent executions at once. That is, it doesn't block waiting for one workflow to finish before starting the next. So for a modest load test like this one worker is enough. To run a large load test, let's open 2 additional terminal windows and run make start worker in each. Then we'll rerun make load test, this time with n set to 50 to run the workflow 50 times. We can see how our workers each pick up workflow runs as needed, distributing the work. And that's it. You just created a medical document processing workflow in less time than it takes to get a pizza delivered. Our workflow uses Mistral OCR to identify text in files and uses Mistral's Chat API to extract and format relevant data from files. From here, you can use the provided skills to add to your workflow or check out our other workflow examples. Thanks for watching.